Hi, friends. So, today I want to talk about a topic that may come across as difficult for some, and we've all had varied experiences with it. So, I don't want to make light of it, but I do want to say I'm going to bring humor into this discussion. Mostly as I'm getting older now, I am finding a lot of humor in this topic. The topic is discrimination. And so, we look south of the border these days and we see the blatant discrimination. And what I want to point out is, being a brown woman who moved to Canada in my 20s, I moved first to the city of Montreal. I probably experienced a lot of discrimination. I know that I did. I've had friends who were, like me from India, having moved to Montreal. We came there for an education. We'd had all kinds of things said to us under breath or even out loud. And that's the beauty of being a 20-year-old where you're really thick skin or maybe really stupid skin where you just don't make a big deal of it. And I didn't make a big deal of it. I knew who I was, why I was there, and I couldn't understand why someone else didn't want to take the time to understand that. But I was able to sort of brush it off my shoulders, just go like, okay, whatever, that was said. That's weird, but that was said. As I got older, and I'm getting older, there's a few new discriminations that I have experienced. And gosh, there are so many. And I am not even in the majority of, the people who get discriminated each day. I'm actually, very privileged with a good life and a good job and all of those kind of things. So I had adult onset allergies. And so I couldn't eat a lot of foods starting in my 40s. And so every time I would go to a restaurant, I would have to say, okay, well, I have all of these food allergies. It's not life-threatening. I do have an EpiPen. And I know there's been a couple of restaurants where people have given me a look. There was one restaurant in Kelowna. I don't think it exists anymore. But I remember the waitress saying to me, why are you here? Like, if you can't eat shrimp and you can't digest MSG and you're not able to eat some of our seafoods because there's contamination, why are you here? Like, go somewhere else, eat somewhere else. And I thought, okay. And that was probably in my 40s and I was still able to sort of go with it. Okay, I'll go eat somewhere else or I'll just eat the broccoli or whatever. And then I would say most recently, I've become vegetarian. So about 4 years ago, I decided to pursue vegetarianism. It's just easier with all of my food allergies. Just, for moral reasons, I decided to be vegetarian. I don't impose it on anybody else. In fact, I cook it for my own child. So we were at a restaurant in Ottawa. Feels like all my discrimination happens in restaurants. And so this was very recent. A restaurant in Ottawa. Someone asked me why I was vegetarian. And as I was explaining to this person, the waiter, not really under his breath, he had been listening to our conversation and commenting all along, and we just laughed at it, said, well, you're at a restaurant called Fauna. Do you realize that? And I thought, wow, that's interesting and very blatant. They had a lot of vegetarian choices, in fact, really good ones. I learned, and I might say this wrong. I learned what pomme aligot is, which is so delicious. It's like mashed potatoes with cheese in it. Delicious, delicious. Anyways, I learned that at that restaurant. But I also learned that I could be discriminated against if I was vegetarian by a restaurant that's named Fauna in Ottawa. Well, and also recently, as I'm in my 50s, and all of you know that, early 50s, I've started to see a discrimination toward people who are not in their 30s, like myself. And at this very same spot, I remember being with a group of younger folk, and same waiter, super interested in completely ignoring me while I was still talking to him and listening to my younger, fellow diners. And I just thought, it must be so interesting. So when I was younger, I had a thick skin. I would say now that I'm older, I'm wiser and have a better sense of humor. And so I can take it. But I just think, I wonder if, the world is turning in a way, or is it just me who's getting older? I remember, the old grandfatherly stories of it back in my day. And I wonder if this is me thinking back in my day. Although today, you could do the Nazi salute on national TV in front of an audience of 1 million people, and the next day, be gaslighted and said, "Oh, that's not what it was." So it could be that I'm just being overly sensitive. That this restaurant's called Fauna, and I'm talking about vegetarianism, or I'm bringing up my allergies, and it's causing everyone a lot of discomfort. Or it could just be that perhaps we are being less so accepting or making less so space for those who are different, and trying to amalgamate everything into a black and white, or into a whatever it might be, just white. I'm not really sure, and I don't have the intelligence or the authority to make those comments. All I can say is I'm going to keep sitting back and finding humor every time I'm discriminated against. And every time someone else is discriminated against, I'm not going to be that person who's going to laugh because it's funny. I'm going to maybe take a stand and stand up for that person who is exerting their rights for whatever their reasons might be. Anyway, give it a thought. Do you find it funny? Do you find it annoying? What goes on for you? Thanks.